kind of a little bit of a side video, but this morning, again, really amazing morning. I want to say hi to everybody out there, but I got a call from a friend and she was talking to me about prayer and if we could pray for somebody that was very special to her. And I want to talk about the energy of worry because, again, I was talking to her yesterday. Yesterday was a beautiful day for her. She was on top of the world. Her energy was so high. And then this morning she called me and she's in this immense state of worry and panic. And I wanted to explain to her that this state of worry is what, again, it's affecting the quantum field. When you project onto a situation these frantic, worried, anxiety-filled thoughts, unfortunately, that's kind of what starts to get magnetized towards you. And what you'll find is that that predictable outcome happens. So, let's say you have, a son or a daughter, and, they're out there in the world and they're in circumstances where there might be drugs and alcohol, and you've done everything that you can to raise your children right. You have given them all of the best principles. You know that you have loved them enough. You know you've done an amazing job, but now they find themselves out in the world, and the first thing that your mind goes to is this fear, worry that the outside world is going to suck your child in and these negative things are going to happen. I'm not saying don't ignore things if there are warning signs, but if there is nothing specifically that is a warning sign, why are you worrying about it? You are creating this ripple effect of a negative vortex out there into the world, and you're likely magnetizing towards yourself and your family and your situation something that, again, we don't know if it's even going to happen. And that's the trouble with worry, is that we can spend an anxiety. I mean, that is the crux of what if thinking and anxiety disorder, anxiety that has essentially ridden the minds of so many individuals in this world. Part of it comes from what our known experiences, what we have seen. So you come home at night, you turn on the news, all you see is murders and wars and people in the financial system running scams. Everything that we're shown, or for the most part what we attune our attention to, are these very negative experiences. But what do you think happens to the human mind when we digest this constant diet of negativity, war, violence, attack? We start to, as a collective, assume, and our mind acclimates to the fact that the world is a dangerous and scary place. And as all of us retreat into this fearful energy, what do we become? We become scared individuals that are ready to attack at any moment because we think the out manifestation of the world is terrible. And in many cases it is, but the only way that you fix it is by retreating into an energy and basically a vibration of love and faith. And you have to, again, sometimes that means removing yourself, removing your mind, your beautiful mind, from this diet that, again, it's addictive. It's super addictive to tune into all of the scary things in the world, to be, entertaining the mind, because the mind is like a child. It needs to be fed. It needs to be fed information, and it likes to play with things and ideas and scenarios. But if you can think of the mind like a child, if you can think of it this way, what are you going to train it to do? What are you going to allow it to play with? I say that the best thing to do for your mind is to fill it and fill its time with beautiful ideas, beautiful thought forms, inspired action that come from love. Making music, making art, helping others, creating businesses, doing things that you're passionate about. That is what you need to switch your mind towards, and have that the fundamental principle of what your mind is focusing on. But if we focus on this what if thinking and this worry and all of these different things, this is where you find people ending up in a real state of lack, because they get on this treadmill of continually focusing on what might go go wrong, and what could go wrong, and what is going wrong, all of the things that are behind the scenes that their mind is making up about what is actually going wrong. And so the human brain tries to fill in the pieces. Okay, we get a little bit of a story, or we get a text from, you know, your child essentially, or maybe it's your husband or your mother, and we have this pendulum type force within our consciousness, which goes all the way over to the extreme. Well, this terrible thing must be happening, and you know, my child must be out there doing drugs, or this horrible thing is going to manifest in my life, or whoever this person that I'm wanting to be with or hang around with, or you know, my boss definitely has it out for me. There's a million things that we can try to fill in the blanks with, and if our consciousness is acclimated into these very low vibrational thought forms, we are essentially attuning our mind to gravitate towards a negative outcome. And we will actually look for that negative outcome. We will actually ping to or focus on all of the things that build up our story into this negative picture of reality, this out-picturing of reality. And as we do that, we start to really believe that story. And it's so interesting how when we start to believe this story, all of the things actually in our out-manifested realities start to show and mirror back to us that very reality which we constructed within our consciousness. So if we don't want to see craziness and lack and a lack of love and, you know, none of these delicious, beautiful experiences showing up in our lives, then definitely tether your mind to worry, tether your mind to that which is overwhelming, and you know, that which is based in lack, that things aren't going to happen for you and everything turns out wrong, and you know, really set yourself into that infrastructure of complaining all the time and seeing the worst in others, and the cup is half empty, and all of this pessimism. But I am going to tell you that in this energy of pessimism, you will only create a really, really shitty life for yourself. And the only way that you get out of it, because again, if you push yourself into this pessimistic, nothing ever works out for me kind of Eeyore life energy, then you're going to have to again cope with all of that. Now you're going to have to find a million ways to cope with your negative energy. So then we turn to things like drugs and alcohol and addictions, because we've put ourselves into such a low state. And I'm not saying that there aren't manifested experiences out there that you are experiencing right now that really suck. But what did you do before that to make those circumstances appear? Once you get into adulthood, once you are no longer in care of your parents, and you have 100% autonomy to create your own life and dreams, especially in North America, there's not too much that will prevent you from doing that. I mean, if you have an illness, okay, that is a different thing. But if you are a healthy human being, if you have two hands and two legs and you can get out there and work, if you have, you know, a mind, a beautiful mind that you've been given, get out there and do the things that are going to create the life that you want, instead of sitting there and complaining and worrying and going over what never worked. Let that stuff go. Let the past go so that you can move on into a beautiful, magical future that you're envisioning for yourself. And that's, again, about inspired action. But remembering that we cannot come from a place of worry. And this is, again, what I'm trying to explain to my friend on the phone, is that if we assume the worst, then we're actually potentially something negative is going on, and it may be something that we have to rush in and help fix and help lift up. But if we put ourselves in this low vibrational energy worrying, we aren't going to have much energy left over to really fix the thing that we want to fix. But if we reside in this energy of trust and faith and assuming the best possible outcome, then if something happens to enter into our energy field that isn't acclimating with a high vibration, we are already energetically at a very, very high vibration. So we have the energy to quickly figure out a solution to that problem and help to raise that problem to a new level when it comes into what we are experiencing. So just remember that as you're going through your day, to really not anxiety. Let it go. Let it dissipate from you. Do the things that you need to do to, in the moment, allow any of this worry and anxiety to dissipate. Do the things that fill you up, that build you up, that, again, structure your life in a way where those that are also your support system are very high vibrational people. Individuals that, again, will remind you of how wonderful and capable you are, that will remind you of your beautiful soul, that will really be your cheerleaders. And then when negative things happen, as a group, as a collective, you can make very solid, logical decisions on how to come up with a plan to raise the vibration of the situation. I don't want to say fix, because again, we can't fix any other, but we can certainly utilize our energy and lend our energy to any situation in a positive, progressive way and help to show those around us a better way, a better path, and a better output of their existence. And this even, the talk that I was actually having with my friends, or my friend, was about drugs, was actually about worrying a child was potentially getting into doing drugs. And the thing is, if you project negativity onto your child, and you come at them with this really worried, negative, not hopeful energy towards them, you're basically saying to your child, I don't trust you. I don't think that you're capable of making good decisions. And that child is around an environment that has some of these very low vibrational activities. Sometimes just that energy of distrust and, no non-belief in your child's own intelligence and what you've given them as an infrastructure may push them into this arena of doing things that they wouldn't have normally done. Whereby if you would have said and spoken to your child, that I love you, I know I've set you up with these really good principles. I know and I believe that you have the wisdom within you, which we worked on together throughout your life to make these solid decisions, and that you're actually going to be a role model for those people around you because you just are that amazing. If you talk to your child that way, the chances are you're actually going to empower them and build them up to make those really amazing decisions that, again, will undoubtedly elevate them above their peer groups to make those solid decisions. And then they become this example of a very high vibrational energy. And it's all about what we're sending out. It's all about who we are and how we're showing up, and making sure that in every instance we show up in the best possible, highest vibrational way we can. So I'm going to sign off on this video. Hopefully, again, this might be helpful to any of you that are sitting in worry, that are sitting in anxiety, that are feeling like a situation isn't going to work out in your best interest. I really want to push you into this energy of assuming or assumption that it actually really is going to work out for the best for you, and allowing God or this divine energy to take over and just let go and let God. Doesn't mean that we do nothing. It just means that what we do, our inspired action, is taken from the highest output of unconditional loving energy for all individuals that we experience in our manifested world. Okay, have an amazing day, guys, and I will see you in the next video.